2018 was one of the worst years we've had for games. So much so that we had to change the whole schedule on a whim. Pat, you are staying here until midnight tonight.
God damn it!
The office morale has been at an all-time low. People are missing holidays. They're putting in double time, sometimes triple. I'm definitely stressed out. I ain't feeling so hot. When we get to the end of the week, it's exhausting. What's up, Brett?
Another one of our videos got demonetized.
I can't take it. I'm going crazy. This has been so bad. Video games are bad. I'm saying it. Video games are bad in 2018. Ted, what are you doing?
I can't have presents.
No one can.
Great. Now we can't have presents. We can't have nice things. I'm going insane.
Do you want something or not?
Listen, man. I can't take it anymore. What do you got? No. To 2018 and all your awful games. Dude, tip me for this.
Number 10.
Now, usually speaking in these top 10s, I set a few ground rules. Only games that came out this year, no ports, but more importantly, no remakes or remasters. However, there was one remake that came out this year that put such a bizarre taste in my mouth that I was taken aback to how disappointed I was. And that game was Secret of Mana HD. Now, many of you know I am obsessed with this game. It's one of my childhood favorites. The music is incredible, the combat is fun and always challenges you, and the story is one that really pulls you in. This remake butchers all of these things to an extent. The remix to music is very hit or miss. The combat, while still fun and somewhat improved, is ruined by clunky UI and weird choices, such as a bestiary that becomes unfillable throughout the journey if you weren't paying attention. And the story is made worse by its bizarre choices of voice acting throughout the game. While this game is not completely a mess, it was ruined by the fact that at the time the game was launched, it was rife with bugs. The game crashed constantly while I played it. The crashing was so bad that Square Enix put in an autosave feature to try and make up for it. And that was added before the game launched, so they knew it would be an issue going into it. Luckily, that helped out a lot. Now, I haven't played since the game launched, but I hope they figured out and patched these bugs, as they would lead to game saves being completely wiped out. This one's hard for me to talk about because in the end, I just feel like a concerned parent. I'm not mad, just disappointed.
Number 9.
Detective Pikachu was totally out of the blue, but got me surprisingly excited for its possibilities. Could I be LA noiring the world of Pokemon? Or maybe I would be Sam and Maxing it up, buddy cop style, but with a Pikachu. The idea is so kooky, and with the news of an extra large amiibo, I don't think it was crazy to assume. However, the ending result left a lot to be desired. Now, I completely understand that the game was built entirely for kids, but I've grown very accustomed to Nintendo pouring everything into their games to make them accessible for all ages. The hand-holding is excruciating. The game's pacing is glacial. And sadly, once you've gone through the second chapter, the fairly linear story doesn't offer much more variant in the gameplay department. The fact of the matter is, this game is designed for your little kid brother or sister who's never played a Pokemon game before this, but knows what a Pikachu is. And that's basically it. If you're trying to get your siblings to play a proper Pokemon game, avoid this one and point them to any of the mainline games. Even Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu would be a great starting point. But I still have high hopes for the Detective Pikachu film though. The Pokemon looks surprisingly good to me, and it seems like tonally what I was hoping the game would offer. Even if Mr. Mime looks like he's ready to play dodgeball with his shoulders. Kind of creepy, but I'm into it.
Number 8.
Last year on my worst games of 2017, I had PUBG on my list. I also mentioned that you should play Fortnite Battle Royale instead. Well, now I'm coming out and saying that I am sick and tired of all things Battle Royale. Remember 6 years ago when every game included multiplayer whether it needed it or not? That's what it feels like with Battle Royale now. I'm willing to acknowledge that some of these modes actually turned out to be implemented pretty well. Blackout mode in Black Ops 4 is an example of a game of Battle Royale doing it okay. However, the basic concept of Battle Royale has a fundamental flaw. It requires a large, consistent player base. With most multiplayer games, you only need about 5 to 20 people. These Battle Royale games generally require 100 people for a match. So when a game like Realm Royale loses 80% of its player base, it starts to become nearly unplayable. Not to mention games like The Culling 2. This game was pushed out to take advantage of this trend, and you can tell that. The game was buggy, incomplete, and it looked like it belonged on a PS2. If this year has taught me anything about video games, it's that the gamer can tell when a game was lovingly created. Cory Barlog created an evocative story about a father and son's relationship. The guys at Sabotage made a nameless ninja warrior an incredible hero. Masahiro Sakurai once again put his own health on the line to create a game that people around the planet could enjoy. The developers trying to cash in on the Battle Royale genre because it's a trend are showing that they have no passion behind their product, and the consumer can tell. If you enjoy these games, more power to you. But personally, I'm jumping off of this hype bus. See what I did there? Fortnite, bus. I think I just made myself sick with that reference. Look, Fortnite is a great game. I just don't want 300 Fortnites.
Number 7.
Do you guys remember when we weren't dunking on Konami all the time? No? Well, yeah, that's fair. What's not fair, though, is all of those Metal Gear fans who were treated to a new entry in the Metal Gear franchise with Metal Gear Survive, a bland, formless mutant that fails to succeed in any single category as a stealth / survival / horror / base building / resource management game. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, hey, some of those slash elements you just mentioned are the types of games I like, well, get ready for a repetitive slog through this game. Expect to be going back to the same locations to farm for some materials to craft, or defending the same handful of points from waves of zombies, which can prove to be tricky the first few times around, but once you've found that sweet spot that works for you, there's very little challenge here. It just comes down to more grinding. But the greatest sin of Metal Gear Survive is the thing that we will always rip on a game for: microtransactions. Now, yes, microtransactions were a part of Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. But with Papa Kojima completely out of the picture, Konami really stepped it up in the worst way. If you want to make and play as a new character in Metal Gear Survive, effectively granting you a new save file, you need to shell out $10. And when the game itself costs $30, well, if you do the math, that's a shameful business practice. I suppose the workaround on a PS4 and Xbox One could be to create a new profile, but players shouldn't need to come up with workarounds to further enjoy a game.
Number 6.
Whoa, hold on 1 second. I am not risking showing Agony gameplay on YouTube. I don't want to get flagged for anything of this crap. Put something softer on screen. Much better. Now, Agony was a Kickstarter game with the promise of the most terrifying vision of hell in the history of gaming. But while the imagery in Agony is gory and imaginative enough, the visuals and sound design themselves are pretty rough, and the actual experience of playing Agony is closer to a walking simulator past a lot of mutilated corpses, topless creatures, and brainless AI. The game is trying so hard to shock you with its moans and screams and demented succubuses and demons, but it's just a slow ride to an underwhelming finish with little more gameplay than periodically hiding, picking up trinkets, and riveting moments like this. Yeah, let's just watch more videos of puppies. The puppies are way more entertaining than that.
Number 5.
Okay, so we all know what Shaq Fu originally was. It was a Super Nintendo fighting game. It came out on the Genesis. Yeah, that's all you need to know. None of us are trying to remember Shaq Fu ever. However, a few years ago, Shaq Fu: A Legend Reborn was kickstarted with the support of Shaquille O'Neal, and the game got its goal, to the point that for $30,000, Shaq will come to your house and DJ a party. But you still have to pay for the expenses of the party and Shaquille O'Neal. And apparently someone did this. Whoever you are out there, please tell me how this went down. Shaq Fu: A Legend Reborn is a wacky beat 'em up that lasts only about 2 hours. It is self-aware in its plot and gameplay, but otherwise the game is so down the middle and generic that it's not even truly fun to criticize. There's no multiplayer and no real playability, but you can turn into a cactus, I guess. It's not like the game has a terrible art style, but there's nothing really to praise here. It's not like the game is glitchy or unplayable, but it's not really that fun to actually play. And even though the game doesn't really take itself that seriously, it's not entirely goofy or gut-bustingly hilarious. You even fight not Kim Kardashian, but totally Kim Kardashian's ass. It's not even one of those games that it's so bad it's good. Admittedly, this game is so bland, it will likely be forgotten. But there is one thing that's kind of memorable about it. The soundtrack is surprisingly decent.
Shaq Fu: A Legend Reborn.
Number 4.
I wish I could have been the fly on the wall when the pitch for SNK Heroines was made. A fighting game starring only the females of SNK? Hell yeah, that could be tight. The mechanics will be made more simple and you can only beat your opponent with a super? Okay, I can get behind that. We're putting Mai in a cow bikini. Okay, I'm sorry, what was that last one? Now, SNK Heroines had some interesting ideas, but nothing came together the way I wanted it to. The combat almost feels like a standard fighter mixed with the mechanics from PlayStation All-Stars. This could work, but it all just comes off feeling kind of shallow. The strangest thing is that every move is accompanied by a food or stuffed animal appearing. I'm not going to deny the fact that if I had the ability to punch people and make McDoubles appear, I wouldn't abuse that power. My office would be looking like the Krabby Patty Vault, but with more knocked out bodies everywhere. Every stage in this game feels barren and flat, but clearly that was not a priority for this game. The characters, or more so what the characters wear, is the forefront of what this game's experience is. Every character has multiple different outfits that they can don. They range from big floofy dresses to outfits that would make Dead or Alive Extreme blush. Look, if you're going to strip away the combat system that SNK is known for, you might as well just take it all off.
Number 3.
When I heard that Nintendo was gonna try and make a video game that revolved around cardboard, I was actually really open to the idea. I was definitely confused at first, but I figured that this was such a Nintendo thing to do that I wanted to try it. So I gave Nintendo Labo a chance, and after spending about an hour building cardboard into a Toy-Con, the gameplay was fine. For about 30 minutes. Now, I acknowledge that I'm not probably the target audience for this game, but I can't imagine that anyone really likes having to spend 30 minutes to an hour just setting stuff up so that they can get a couple minutes of playtime. And even then, the games that come with Nintendo Labo are more like tech demos. Good for a quick, whoa, but not much depth in the base kits. Yeah, the Robo kit looks pretty slick and offers more of a game than the rest. And yes, the steering wheel now integrates with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but that's not reason enough to buy a bunch of colorful cardboard pieces, and these creations have just been sitting on my shelves collecting dust. But to give credit where credit is due, some people have made some pretty cool creations using Nintendo Labo. Some people have made some instruments, and others have made some Game & Watch style apps. And that's actually pretty freaking cool. But just like Guitar Hero, just like Rock Band, and just like Wii Fit, these gigantic peripherals will just sit unused and eventually be gifted to Goodwill.
Number 2.
Now, before we begin, let me be clear that I have a bone to pick. Bethesda has been a company that, while I admire, I tend to get upset that people just write off their games as masterpieces, even though they are filled to the brim with insane bugs and glitches that everyone else is just fine with. And admittedly, I haven't been very vocal about it because I feel like people will just tell me to shut the fuck up and enjoy it already or die. Wait, they already do that already. Huh. So this problem I have with Bethesda may have finally come up in the form of one big video game, Fallout 76. God damn, there was so much potential. I guess they're just too busy releasing Skyrim on the Commodore 64 to put really any effort into the most beloved game franchises of all time. Bam, that's a roast. No wonder Obsidian threw major shade at the Game Awards. Boom, that's 2 roasts! I know I don't talk about it much, and I haven't completed one of the games for the show yet, but the Fallout games are ones that I actually really enjoy. The classic games set a precedent for a wacky, surreal, and idealized future derived from 1950s Americana. Fallout 76 had such promise, and the idea of an open world filled only with other players seemed incredible. However, the world ended up being an empty and glitchy mess, both in the beta and on release. The game has the typical MMO and survival game elements, quests, gear, and giant monsters to slay. And I will say that the creature designs are as solid as ever, and the world looks beautiful. But again, it just feels a little too desolate and unpopulated. The VAT system is wonky and doesn't have the great turn-based feel that previous entries did. Mostly because, I don't know, why would you have a VAT system in an MMO action game? You can't stop the game in real time. It's fucking VATs. The PvP is fine, I guess. It just doesn't truly have that survival-based adrenaline rush that it could have, since the player you're trying to attack won't take significant damage unless they fight back. Overall, the true name of Fallout 76 is Missed Opportunity the Musical. Maybe patches can save this one, but at least we got the sweet rendition of Take Me Home Country Roads.
Number 1.
Now I know you know that I don't love to hate on games. I'm a dude that loves games. The Completionist, in my eyes, is a show about video game appreciation. And truth be told, whenever I do hate on a game, is because I am passionate about what the game could have been, or frustrated because it was so close to being good. It's like seeing a crooked painting. Just pick it up and readjust it a smidge and you're fine. But the worst game in 2018 is a game that I didn't even realize I was playing until it was too late. One that got constant patch notes and updates without any communication, and one that was filled with controversies more this year than any year I have been doing this whole thing. And the worst part, it's not even a fucking video game. It's a website. YouTube. Now, I try to avoid talking about YouTube and business stuff because, quite frankly, it's not that important to you guys. You are here to listen to me talk about what I think of my worst games of the year, not my political stance on how tech companies run the world. But make no mistake, YouTube in 2018 is a game. It's the most game it's ever been. It's a game that is filled with tons of bad actors that get away with a lot, and those actions affect everyone, big and small. And this year was one that honestly made me really unhappy. Even though we're a family-friendly-ish channel, there are bigger channels that make dumb decisions that impact channels like mine, or the YouTubers that you all love and watch. And this impact makes advertisers wary of working with us as a collective, and it dehumanizes us. Tons of your favorite creators raised thousands of dollars for charity, and then a big YouTuber does something dumb, and we end up getting subjugated to being just another influencer who uses their power to abuse their audience. While we then roll out the red carpet for celebrities to take over the platform who, spoiler alert, already have a goddamn platform of their own. They're celebrities, for Christ's sake. In 2018, I tried time and time again to really hunker down and play this YouTube game. While I didn't dive into Fortnite or use tons of clickbait thumbnails with emojis, thick strokes, and exclamation points, I was actively looking to pivot and position ourselves to be favored by the YouTube algorithm. Whether it's playing games that align more to movies and films, or just playing the new hotness. We made it so that we were outputting double the content this year as per the YouTube algorithm, and it worked. And honestly, since the whole New Game Plus fiasco, it's been a blast. We've had a lot of fun making the show this year, and it worked for quite some time. Then something changed on the back end of YouTube without any communication whatsoever to anyone on the platform, and suddenly videos that should do well don't. This results in me begging video game companies to getting brand new games way early so I can be the first person ever out there to complete their game, which to an extent, I've already been doing this for years, but now it makes it an absolute must and priority. Before, I get to pick what I wanted to play. Now, I have to play what's new. I have to have new videos on new games planned on launch. And if it's not out in a few weeks, the game loses its value in the search engine system. And that is because of one simple truth. YouTube is a search engine. it is not a community. The community aspect comes from the creators building the community, not the website itself. Now, we tried to strike a balance and give both you, the viewers, and YouTube what it wants. And we struck out a ton this year, and that stinks because we output some incredible stuff this year that I'm super proud of. But the problems that I'm talking about aren't even about the content. What I'm referring to is a functionality problem. Sub box is not working? Tell people to subscribe again by hitting a goddamn bell for notifications. Video views getting low? Better tell everyone to smash that like button while screaming at them to follow me on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Tumblr, Instagram, and support me on Patreon, because who fucking knows if anyone's gonna see today's video, and even if they do see it, there's a huge chance that's going to be demonetized anyways, so fuck it. But thank goodness there's a community tab here, so we can post images like YouTube is a blog. Better yet, now we can post stories here like Instagram, right guys? Look, as a content creator, I want to believe that I can make the videos I want to make, and that they'll be seen, but that's simply not the truth. If I want my viewers to watch my videos, I'm encouraged to use new features and functions like YouTube Gaming to stream in order to get more subscribers and watch time, or post in the community tab to get people excited for the upcoming video that people already know that I'm working on. I make new videos Wednesdays and Saturdays. Been doing that for quite some time now, thus making YouTube a game. It's a game that can't be beaten. If anything, it's a game that beats its players. It's a cruel relationship, but I am a fiercely loyal person. Not to YouTube so much, but to all of you out there for being the most supportive group that I've ever met. And if I can end this on a positive note, I want to say this. In 2018, our community raised over $50,000 for charity and dementia research. We crushed milestones for the channel, and I met more fans this year than I ever have in my existence of being a YouTuber. You guys are my fuel, and I plan to keep this engine going for as long as I can. All right, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Rant over. So those were my worst games of 2018. Honestly, finding 10 awful games this year was pretty tough, and that's a pretty great sign. Most of the games I discussed were disappointing versus truly bad. Let me know what makes your lists for worst games of 2018. Or just type 2018 and put a disappointed emoji. Get wrecked 2018. I'm sorry it didn't work out for you. I'm with 2019 now. Like, comment, go subscribe to Youngtown. He's better than me. Go.